One of the most well-known examples of biblical apocrypha. It's non-canonical. That's what that means. It's an ancient Hebrew text dealing with the apocalypse, demons, angels, and the Nephilim. Historically, the author of the text is unknown, but it's dated to be around 200 BCE, and evidence exists showing that ancient Jews and early Christians were very much aware of it. Today, we are going to be talking about parts of the Book of Enoch, all this and more. Microphone therapy. Apparently, there are 10 planes of heaven, or 10 layers, and each one is very interesting.
I want to know more about it.
In terms of the way that it's set up and what happens in each of these planes. I'm just calling them planes because it's the easiest way to explain it. So in the first heaven, there's something called the Great Sea.
Mm-hmm.
It's greater than the earthly sea. This alludes to an atmosphere that contains the floodwaters that are released onto the earth during the Great Deluge in the days of Enoch's great-grandson, Noah. This passage suggests that the earth has more land mass than ocean surface coverage. It's not until the floodwaters of heaven come down that the heavenly waters will attribute to the oceans covering up to 70% of the earth's surface, the way we see them in the modern age.
70 is quite a bit. 50 would be a lot.
Yeah, that's true. There's also the treasure houses of snow, which is described as, well, I'll just read it. Treasure houses of snow and the angels who keep their terrible storehouses in the clouds whence they come out and into which they go. This description suggests a high-altitude cloud system that is much more complicated in keeping the heavenly floodwaters contained. The treasure house of snow may have served to hold these floodwaters in place. The word treasure suggests something valuable and pretty to behold. The word storehouse suggests a keep or containment. The word snow suggests something cold. No, really. Combine this into one phrase, and it is conceivable that Enoch was describing some type of ice crystal containment field. Today, high-altitude ice crystals in a super cold state.
I find it weird that many times when we're not, it's not an indication by our point of view. It's a lot of times they call these places and beings and things out like they're just like you and me, living in the same ice crystal whatever above the stars or above the atmosphere.
Yep.
Like it makes it seem like somewhere I could get to myself. That's all.
Yeah. These ice crystals make up the I got to take a reading class. I also got to take a speech class. Make up the cirrocumulus and cirrostratus cloud systems. These modern day systems are much lighter than what Enoch describes before the Great Deluge or deluge.
Deluge meaning a lot of water.
The terrible storehouses.
Uh-oh.
Enoch further describes the treasure houses of snow as terrible storehouses that are kept by angels and how they are made to shut and open. These ice crystal storehouses are terrible because once the hypothetical ice crystal containment field is open, this releases the terrible flood deluge that wipes all land life off the face of the earth, save Noah's Ark. The use of the word storehouses in plural form conceive the idea of ice crystal pillars or structures at multiple points throughout the ice crystal containment field that is holding the deluge waters. When the terrible structures are opened by the angels, the floodwaters may have poured out like a sieve, draining from ice pillars that could strain out in a terrible form, not the way it rains today or how it is typically depicted in Noah's Ark stories. Okay.
Interesting.
And we have Treasure House of the Dew. So apparently the first plane is all about water.
Yes.
Enoch continues the experience of the first heaven where the angels show Enoch a treasure house of the dew, like oil of the olive, in the appearance of its form as of all the flowers of the earth. So it would be a sight to behold, an atmosphere in the heavens made of an ice crystal field, having ice pillars all throughout on the inside of a spherical.
Nice. You nailed it.
Jesus fucking Christ, Mike.
You nailed it. Spherical.
On the inside of a spherical grid pointing toward the earth. Its appearance may have been awe-inspiring because Enoch refers to seeing a treasure house of the dew in the singular sense.
Okay.
It may have been interpreted that Enoch saw one crystal structure in particular. Olive oil in ancient times was considered valuable and rich. Well, it still is. Something you would anoint kings with. Comparing the structure to olive oil suggests that Enoch was beside himself and perhaps felt like a king. This treasure house may also have served as a place for Enoch to rest after taking in this immense atmospheric world. He also makes a note about its appearance being like all the flowers of the earth. Since flowers are colorful, this structure was gleaming with colors. Crystals are prismatic and reflect every color in the color spectrum, a colorful description that reinforces the ice crystal hypothesis. You ready to move on to the second heaven?
I am.
There is nothing much about the second heaven. So I guess apparently we're just going to go through all the heavens.
Very good. I eagerly await this information.
The second heaven is described in Enoch as having a place of great darkness for angelic prisoners who are hanging and awaiting a great and boundless judgment. This is cross-referenced in 1 Enoch, in which Shemaiah, leader of the 200 rebel watchers, had been suspended upside down for his crimes against humanity. Even the angels who guard the prisoners are described as gloomy in appearance more than the darkness of the earth.
Okay. That would be the part not getting sun at that moment? Or continent? Or do you mean like, ooh, darkness?
In the Book of Enoch, Samyaza is portrayed as the leader of a band of angels called Sons of God or Watchers.
Huh.
We were going to get into the Watchers at some point, so might as well do it now.
Now, are they guard? They guard the 4 towers?
These Watchers, yeah, I think so. These Watchers became consumed with lust for mortal women and entered into machinations against heaven in order to consummate their desires.
They entered into more to that.
When the rebels first meet upon Mount Hermon to organize their secret society of 200 members, Samyaza, as a recognized chieftain, initially doubts the initiative's resolve to forswear heaven. This they had planned to achieve through dark alliances and clandestine oaths sworn under penalty of death, thereby binding themselves to that treachery whereby they could use their heaven-acquired knowledge to create a counterfeit religion on earth to satisfy their lusts and carnal desires.
Well, I know a little bit about this spell, but do go on.
We've already talked about Mount Hermon. It's a mountain cluster constituting the southern end of the anti-Lebanon mountain range. Its summit straddles the border between Syria and Lebanon.
Right.
Because I was having a tough time saying those words.
If I think I'm going to blow it on something, I just skip to the next adjective or whatever, you know. I just forego the whoever needs to be namedly acknowledged in a house of learned doctors. I just go right over their shit and go to the next sentence.
There you go.
Because you followed along with my reading. You're like, he just skipped the whole sentence.
Yep. Let's see here. Having thus persuaded his fellow watchers to join him in his schemes to fornicate with women, Samyaza led his angelic brethren in their seduction of the human females for whom they yearned. The hybrid offspring born from this unnatural mating between heavenly and earthly beings were called the Nephilim, or giants.
Well, I have something to add to that. I read that since we're on the angels fornicating with human women, that at one point on Earth, humans lived a much longer time. There was some type of vapor canopy, whether it be our allegedly depleted ozone layer, and it offered a protection that allowed humans to live for, I want to say I've read like up to 600 years. And they, according, once again, to what I read, which could be a completely fictional account by somebody, they interacted with the humans to some extent and were able to not only watch over them for a safety type of a situation. I don't know whether that's they're safe to themselves or from other influence. Not only that, but I mentioned they more or less sort of interacted to some extent, right?
Yep.
Okay. What I read was, I'm gonna screw up on the name, but I want to say it was Azrael or Azazel was the angel of choice who approached the other angels, and said, "You're probably gonna all shun me, but I've been thinking about sleeping with these human women. And I know that the big guy would not be happy about this news. So what do you all think of that?" And they were like, and I guess every single one went, "That's a great idea." A great idea being to sleep with human women. And from that is and I'm not saying this is included in the Book of Enoch, but it's the birth of the half human, half angelic being giants.
The Nephilim.
Is that the Nephilim? Yeah. Anyways, I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting how many different accounts you get of things too, because What I read, the Nephilim could be like as tall as the sky, is how big they got.
Yeah, well, we're not there yet, so let's find out.
Okay, let's find
The
out.
Watchers and their demigod children dominated, exploited, and at times even murdered the lesser folk who lacked their angelic pedigree. Their reign began in the days of the righteous patriarch Jared, not the subway guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's immediately where my mind was at.
The father of the prophet Enoch, that's who he was. Their debauchery sank to even greater depths, and there was great impiety and much fornication, and they went astray, and all their ways became corrupt. This wickedness caused Enoch to have a sleep vision or prophetic dream known as the animal apocalypse. I can quote from it, but it's kind of weird. A star fell from heaven, and it arose and ate and pastured among those oxen. And after this, I saw the large and the black oxen, and behold, all of them changed their pens and their pastures and their heifers, and began to moan one after another. And then I saw in the vision, and looked to heaven, and behold, I saw many stars, how they came down and were thrown down from the heaven to that first star. And amongst those heifers and bulls, they were with them, pasturing amongst them. And I looked at them and saw, and behold, all of them let out their private parts like horses and began to mount the cows of the bulls. And then all became pregnant and bore elephants and camels and asses.
What?
When I'm reading this, all I can think of is the holy hand grenade of Antioch. Jesus. Have you ever?
No, it's
so
not
the
a clue.
holy hand grenade of Antioch when in Monty Python.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen it, but Monty Python's funny. Are you gonna pull it up or out?
Is the holy hand grenade of Antioch real? Yes, of course, the holy hand grenade of Antioch. 'Tis one of the sacred relics Brother Maynard carries with him. Brother Maynard. So,
Brother Maynard.
Pie lesu domine donae es requiem. How does it work? I know not, my liege. Consult the Book of Armaments. Armaments, chapter 2, verse 9 to 22. And here it is right here. And Saint Attila raised the hand grenade up on high, saying, "O Lord, bless this thy hand grenade, that with it may thou blow thine enemy tiny bits in thy mercy." And the Lord did grin, and the people did feast upon the lambs and the sloth and the carp and anchovies and orangutan and breakfast cereals and fruit bats and large. Skip it, brother. And the Lord spake, saying, "First shalt thou take out the holy pin, then shalt thou count to 3. No more, no less. 3 shalt be the number, 3 shalt count, and the number for the counting shalt be 3. 4 shalt thou not count."
Okay, well, party on.
Thou 2, accepting that 2, then proceed to 3. 5 is right out. Once the number 3, being the third number, be reached, then lobst thy of Antioch towards the foe, who being naughty in my sight shall snuff it.
Let it go.
Right. 1, 2, 5, 3, sir. 3.
That is funny as fuck.
So when I read,
who said is it real?
I don't know. I refuse to
put any more energy and thought into who that human being could be.
Yes. Okay. Because it's just ridiculous.
It is.
So when I read stuff like this, and they all became pregnant and bore elephants and camels and asses, and all the oxen feared them and were frightened at them, and began to bite with their teeth and to devour and to gore. I'm reading what they say, but all I can think of when I see this stuff is the holy hand grenade of Antioch scene.
I picture it like
and breakfast cereals and orangutans and anchovies.
I picture it in like soft cover, and it's like illustrated by the guy who did The Far Side.
Oh yeah, okay. So Gary Larson.
And that wouldn't it be weird if it was real in like a certain point of the Bible, like there's like Far Side type sketches, but they're like, "No, we're serious. Stop that laughing. This is not a joke." Rocket.
Okay. In the Book of Giants, found that Qumran Samyaza, through his forbidden action, fathers 2 half-breed giant sons, Oya and Haya.
Thank you for not saying Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
The Watcher shared with humankind various forbidden arts, sciences, and celestial secrets or mysteries of the true heavenly gnosis or knowledge, especially that wisdom possessed by Azazel, who taught them also the secrets of magic, of war, including metallurgy and weaponry, and of seductive ornamentation like jewelry and cosmetics,
which is evil.
all of which ultimately brought down the wrath of heaven upon the rebel angels and their spawn.
Here we go. This is my favorite part.
God commanded the angel Gabriel to cause the watchers and giants to wage civil war.
Oh, amongst themselves.
And to Gabriel said the Lord, proceed against the biters and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of the watchers from amongst men. Send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have. And the holy hand grenade of Antioch was
Gabriel to carry that out?
Yep.
So Gabriel's all sneaking around in the middle of the night, whispering people to all, hey, you don't like them anymore.
Yeah. They're jerks.
So Gabriel's all creepy.
Yeah. Finally, the judgment of the watcher, associates of Semyaza, is described. And the Lord said unto Michael, go bind Semyaza and his associates who have united themselves with women so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanliness. Or uncleanness.
Uncleanness. Uncleanness?
That's what it says. Uncleanness. Cleanness.
Watch out for her. She's uncleanness.
Yes.
She's got the stuff. The uncleanness stuff.
She's got the stuff.
She's got the stuff. I picture Gabriel like just all sneaky and like wearing a Swatch watch and like Teva sandals and jelly bracelets and got a lot of gel in his hair.
Why?
I don't know. That's what I imagine. I'm like,
it's more like
smoking cigarettes and
more like Animal House when Belushi and all those guys broke into the dean's office.
Yeah.
It's, when they're rolling around.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yeah. That movie seemed so funny when I was a little kid, and then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, I don't think it's that funny.
Okay, Travis.
I'm being serious.
You don't find the fact that they shot a fake gun and killed a horse and left it?
I don't even remember that part. When I was a kid, I saw like the part where he, maybe it's not Animal House, where he's on the ladder and he's trying to get to the chick in the window that is taking her clothes off, and she keeps going to the. Oh, okay. And then the one where he goes into the cafeteria and gets all the food, and then he goes, "Hey, what am I?" And he.
Yep. A zit. Get it? Yeah, Belushi was great.
Yeah, Belushi was great. He liked to sniff her too.
Yeah. So, okay. When their sons have slain one another and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will be thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations.
Sounds like sometimes God didn't even know exactly how to go about it. So he's all, make this happen, make it possible, and let it be, let it carry out at such and such time that perhaps I'm in the mood for this.
Pretty much it's like, I'm tired of your crap. So you're all done for. Just get out of my sight.
Yeah, but he's not being like super concise about what he wants. He's all, play this out over here until.
No, that's pretty much concise.
Okay.
Till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, they shall be confined forever.
Which is, forever. It's like a long time.
And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations.
So don't try to conjure what's it, Azazel, because probably not going to have any luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless he sends somebody in instead, because they do that too. Sometimes the demons do. If I can't make it, send bat wings or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if at that point, if he's killed every one of those people, send them off to maybe the abyss of fire. So who knows? They could be. Once the archangels and the host of righteous had punished the watchers and giants, God poured forth, after several generations, the great flood of Noah to wipe out the lingering remnants of the corrupted races of earth, not faces, through the diluvial judgment. This is like every couple of years, like a specific word starts to become very, very popular. In the last 6 months, maybe 8 months or so, it was antediluvial. And it really bugged me that people were just using this word
I didn't know
all the
I knew
time
one.
in newscasts and
Oh,
shit
I
like
see. Gotcha. Like in the more the public.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's antediluvial. It's antediluvian.
Gotcha.
Why are you using that word?
Yeah, like
Because it's a big word.
who dropped that pill in your coffee?
Yeah, exactly. God swept away the last of the lawlessness that had been unleashed by the forbidden knowledge of the Watchers, reestablishing his covenant with Noah and his sons and restoring harmony and fertility to the earth.
Well, if you say so.
In the Book of Giants, Shemyaza begets 2 sons who together battle Leviathan. However, they are not portrayed as heroic, but as boasting about their own victory, a symbol of royal failure to keep one's power in this world. After the defeat of Leviathan, Shemyaza and his offspring are slain by the 4 punishing angels.
Wait a minute. You're saying the defeat of Leviathan?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They fought and killed Leviathan.
Well, that's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, well, they're also giants.
Well, I want to say Leviathan has nothing to do with the fallen, but proceeded and was just in a dormant, like what I talked about before. Leviathan is its own monstrous thing.
Right.
Not
But
like
in theology and mythology, he was defeated by Shemyaza and his Nephilim sons.
right, but you're agreeing with me. He wasn't like an angel that was cast out. Leviathan was not.
No,
He's got his own television channel.
yeah, but I mean, like even here, it's different. Like the Leviathan of the Book of Job is a reflection of the older Canaanite Lotan, a primeval monster defeated by the god Baal Hadad.
Okay, so that is going to then Baal is clearly a name that's been used to identify a demon. I know you're doing it in a different sense right now.
There's so many different versions of Baal.
Okay.
There's Baal this, Baal that, Baal the demon in and of itself that you're talking about.
Right. And all I'm saying is I read somewhere one time, and I don't know why I don't save these things, that when the demons were, when the angels were falling, right thereafter, right the moment they had fallen as far as you're going to fall, they realized you're in a place where there was these almost dormant monster-like creatures that in the passage I read were older than God and were like almost like in a slumber, and they were awoken by the arrival of we're falling, shit, okay, we're there, aroused or arose to the presence of the now what we'll call demons, Lucifer, and so on and so forth. And the first thing that had to occur is so you just got your ass kicked in heaven, right? And now you got to fight these things. And they were able to fight and thwart them off, if not destroy them. And that's how they took occupancy of that real estate. In other words, so hell is born in that victory. Off subject, perhaps, but I think it's a very interesting thing to think about.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but
like, have you ever got your ass kicked in a bar only to walk across the street into another bar and kick everybody's ass? Because I haven't.
No.
Okay.
No. But just going through the Leviathan stuff, I mean,
So I always had Leviathan as some type of almost like a devil himself, big monster. Was that Leviathan was a heavy hitter? It's like saying,
okay, Leviathan is not a demon or anything like that.
Okay.
In this reference, it is referenced in several books from the Hebrew Bible, Psalms, the Book of Job, Book of Isaiah, and Book of Enoch. Although they say pseudo-depigraphical.
What does pseudo mean?
Fake.
Oh, gotcha.
But Book of Enoch is considered non-canonical, and it actually exists. So who knows? The Leviathan is often an embodiment of chaos, threatening to eat the damned when their lives are over. In the end, it is annihilated. It doesn't say by who or by what, so it's just left up to the imagination. Anybody can just, run
with it.
Yeah.
Leviathan is yours.
The Nephilim killed them,
Well, okay.
Or whoever.
Okay.
Christian theologians identified Leviathan with the demon of the deadly sin, envy. According to Ophite diagrams, the Leviathan encapsulates the space of the material world. Or, what's the name of the serpent in the Norse mythologies?
I have no idea. I don't remember. Who would be? Behemoth?
No. Midgard serpent, the world serpent, giant sea serpent who encircles the earth. It's Jormungandr.
Say it again.
Jormungandr.
Who makes these words up?
Well, in that case, that would be Norse. So the Norse.
The Norse?
Yes.
Vikings.
The Vikings.
Yeah. They're drunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
All the time.
Just a little bit, of course, too. As I looked it up, I also started reading ahead. Leviathan in the Book of Job is a reflection of the older, we've already mentioned that, Canaanite Lotan, a primeval monster defeated by Baal-Hadad, who's a Sumerian storm and rain god. Parallels to the role of Mesopotamian Tiamat, defeated by Marduk, have long been drawn in comparative mythology.
Time out. You're naming Necronomicon, people. Marduk, no. Marduk.
I'm naming Mesopotamian.
Well, they're included in the fake Necronomicon.
So, the dragon and world serpent narratives, such as Indra slaying Vritra or Thor slaying Jormungandr. Leviathan also figures in the Hebrew Bible as a metaphor for a powerful enemy, notably Babylon. Well, there you go.
Babylon. Things don't get any better than Babylon.
All right. Third heaven, because we've already gone through the second heaven. As we travel on in the heavenly paradise of the third heaven, there is the tree of life, which is rooted down to the earth in the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
This heavenly paradise is prepared for the righteous and the compassionate.
Only to be altered to the tree of death.
Yes. Also in the third heaven, there is a torturous place of cruel darkness surfaced by murky fire with a distinct fiery river coming forth. This place is prepared for those who have dishonored God on earth by practicing sin against nature. I don't know what that means, but okay.
I do.
So the terrible place may be referenced to the lake of fire in the book of Revelation. And the lake of fire is interpreted as a place of punishment by perpetual torment and not necessarily of annihilation or
just nonstop pain.
Yeah, it's just,
with no rest in sight.
So
that would be a terrible fate. Suffer forever. There must be some amount of suffering where you just cease to. Can't you run out of the ability to suffer at some point? You're like you just can't take it anymore. You're everything that you are just frays apart into dust. Anything else just seems unnatural.
So have you seen? You don't go through TikTok, but there's on TikTok. There's I don't know if it's a series, but it's a bunch of people that say that they found the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
What's really funny is they're like, oh my God, this water is so clear and so perfect, and we found the entrance to the Garden of Eden.
And it's in Pasadena.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say specifically where it was because apparently it's hidden.
Oh,
so they don't want to tell anybody where it's at.
Right.
But
and here we are, thousands of years later, and you'll never guess what we found.
Well, the Garden of Eden is located somewhere between the Euphrates and the Tigris, and the river went out to Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became 4 heads. The name of the first is Pishon, that it is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there is Delium and the onyx stone, and the name of the second river is Gihon. The name is that compasseth. Okay, I hate that word.
Can you imagine having to talk like that all the time?
No, the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is the Tigris. That is,
everybody's
goes toward the east of Asher, and the fourth river is the Euphrates.
Euphrates, extremely popular river.
Suggestions for the location of Eden include the head of the Persian Gulf, as argued by Juris Zarins, in southern Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers run into the sea, in the Armenian highlands or the Armenian National Plateau. British archaeologist David Roll locates it in Iran and in the vicinity of Tabriz, but this suggestion has not been adopted by mainstream academia.
Yeah, kook.
Others theorize that Eden was merely a region of considerable size in Mesopotamia, where its native inhabitants still exist in cities such as Telassar, based on verses, yes, Mike, verses such as Isaiah 38:17, or that it encompassed the entire Fertile Crescent.
The entire Fertile Crescent.
According to Terry Stordalen, the Book of Ezekiel places Eden in Lebanon.
Everything's all taking place in the oil fields and desert.
Yeah.
Interesting. That they still have war there all the time. Never stops.
There is. So there are guardians of the Garden of Eden.
Still?
Yep.
Well, then how'd they get in there?
That's what I'm saying.
I think they're full of fluff.
Poopy.
Yeah. Poo, caca. Although, here's the thing. Ever since money was invented, people are like, if we did this or made that up or we're full of shit, or even if we just tried and did it right, we could make some money. Right? It's driving everything. Who doesn't have their hand in it? Maybe that's why they say money is the root of all evil, because it's been there from the beginning.
So yeah, a cherubim is assigned to guard the way to the tree of life. It's got a flaming sword. Actually, it's multiple. It's not just one. It's a group of angels, and they guard the entrance to Eden.
Hard, like Indiana Jones would be like, I give up.
Yeah, like pass.
Yeah, James Bond would be like, that's not necessary,
because they will murder your face off.
Face Off. Even like Nick Cage from Face Off would be like, I could eat a peach for hours, but not here. Or would it be an apple?
Peach, you're right. How is there no information on the Tree of Life?
The Tree of Life, it's got its own whole spirituality and religion set up around it.
Yeah, we'll get through the Tree of Life at some point. I am not going to deal with that right now.
Fuck that.
All right. Fourth Heaven.
4.
And we're going to stop at Fourth Heaven.
Okay. But then can I watch reruns of Seventh Heaven?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You may. Fourth Heaven, and this will be the final for today. Why?
What's wrong now?
I hate this webpage. I severely hate this goddamn webpage.
You weren't out ahead on this one tonight. You're struggling in the moment. In this moment.
No, it has nothing to do with struggle. It is they run a fucking ad, and then they run their stupid fucking fandom bullshit, and then you press pause and they run a fucking ad.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. Then anytime that I go to a specific link in these pages, it automatically scrolls me down to that fucking ad. What
are they trying to sell you?
I don't know. I don't.
Tampons?
It could be.
What if they're any good?
Fucking cunts.
Fuck you, cunts.
All right. Fourth Heaven contains the course of the sun and the moon. The dynamics of the sun operates in the fourth heaven as it passes through 2 sets of 12 sun gates, east and west. These solar dynamics have influence on the earth and the moon. The sun gates represent the 12 constellation signs of the zodiac. This heaven also introduces the elements of the sun known as the phoenixes and the Chalkidri. Chalkidri? Okay.
I don't know that one.
Chalkidri are mythical creatures mentioned in the Second Book of Enoch from the 1st century, often seen as angelic species, brazen hydras. This isn't long, so we'll get through this one. Yeah. They dwell near the sun and ran its course around the earth, with it bringing heat and dew to the earth. The Chalkidri and phoenixes are described as creatures with the head of a crocodile and the feet and tail like that of a lion, each having 12 wings, and are the color purple like the rainbow. The phoenixes in Greek myth are not the same mentioned. At sunrise, the Chalkidri break into song with their counterparts, alerting the birds of the world for a new day to rejoice.
Which they fucking do every morning.
The bronze
tweet.
constructed by Moses to protect the Israelites from attacks by fiery flying serpents and destroyed by King Hezekiah as adulterous. Interesting.
Uh-oh. That is kind of a good one. I like how they spin the birds into that one. So if you get up in the morning, you don't hear any birds. Might as well just grab a beer, turn on the TV, and wait for it to go fuzzy.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, I've had enough. So
I have too. I'm tired as fuck.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
All right.